Welcome to State of Affairs. Today we're coming to you from the Riverwoods Dialysis Center here at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, also known as the Ridge Hospital. I'm talking to Captain Victor Okankwe. He was part of the June 4 revolution, or was he? He's here to narrate his experiences and all the discussions that have come up since the 39th anniversary celebration yesterday. You're welcome to the show.
Well, thank you very much, and thanks to the viewers.
Okay, now we are in this dialysis center for this interview. How are you connected to this dialysis center?
I am the managing partner for Riverwoods Dialysis.
Okay.
And therefore we have a number of centers, and this is one of them. We didn't have sufficient time to prepare for your crew, so this was the closest we could get.
Okay, all right. So the plan is to get a number of dialysis centers in the country?
Yes, the plan is to make it possible and affordable for all those who have renal diseases of some kind to get treatment. We have, according to the latest statistics by the Ghana Kidney Foundation, close to 14% of our population has some kind of renal disease, and that of these, about 10% need regular treatment per dialysis.
Right.
And so until we have facilities and laws to regulate transplants, liver transplants, kidney transplants, we have to continue to provide some kind of support for those that need treatment, and this is what these centers are for.
Okay,
we will go to other regions as well. In fact, we intend to cover the whole country.
Okay, fantastic. Anyway, let's go back to why I'm here. June 4, where were you on that day?
June 4, that was 39 years ago. I was 29. I was a military officer. I was a captain by rank. And I was in my bed around the morning of June 4th when a very good friend, Major Henry Smith at the time, came by and said, there's something happening we have to look at. And that was what launched me into June 4th, yeah. Okay,
and so you remember every detail of that day?
I have to. I mean, the idea of a revolution was entirely mine. I had been reading Mao Zedong's Long March just the previous week, so along with my youthful exuberance and idealism about integrity in government and equality of opportunity for all, I was thinking revolution at the time, and that's why it became the Armed Forces Revolution. Besides, I was sick of the posture of military governments seizing power from civilian governments and then proclaiming themselves saviors or liberators or whatever. I really couldn't take that, so we needed to go a different route, and that's what resulted in the AFRC.
Okay, but it's been 39 years since. Do you feel that the reasons for that revolution have really materialized? Do you see them in present-day Ghana?
No. For one, what we set out to achieve, that was the eradication of the canker of corruption, did not materialize. I mean, it is like 50 times worse now, which goes to prove one thing, that you cannot execute people and then expect people to be terrified into going straight, doing the right thing whilst in government. And therefore, we didn't achieve that. In fact, the only thing we achieved, I think, was to spare the intents of well-meaning Ghanaians that there is a better way to run government than was happening at the time. Now we did not achieve anything, and I therefore think that instead of celebrating June 4th, we should take a solemn look on those days and perhaps hold seminars and religious services for the souls of those who lost their lives, particularly the leading military and ex-heads of states who lost their lives, because they died for nothing, really. It was harsh. They were murdered.
Okay.
And they were not tried. They didn't have the due process that should be afforded everyone. And therefore, I think, looking back now,
you have regrets.
I have tons of regrets. It destroyed a lot of careers. It destroyed a lot of businesses. But above all, people lost their lives. And no one, not even the state, has the right to take people's lives without trial, particularly.
Okay. No, so it's what you said is some of the reasons people have cited for the non-celebration of the day. They say that once you celebrate the day, like yesterday's 39th anniversary, you're reminding people of the businesses they lost, the loved ones they lost on that day. But you listen to ex-President Rawlings, and he gives us very good reasons why it should be celebrated. What have you made of his posture?
Well, I really haven't had the opportunity of listening to the former president, who was my colleague at the time. I would like to know a little bit more about what he says. If I have a difference of opinion, I would air them. But I think nothing is more important as human beings than life. And therefore, if you have a point to make, if you have a contribution to make to society, I think we should be very, very careful about how we execute our programs and objectives attained, because in the end, you're talking about human lives. We are one gorgeous mosaic, different tribes, different people, with different levels of tolerance. And once you unleash mob violence, which essentially was 4th June was, except in this case, the mob was armed, right. The army. That is the only governmental institution that is authorized, apart from individuals and other agencies, to protect us. Now, when those instruments of violence, guns and other things, are used to coerce the population and to make people do things that ordinarily they would not be want to do, then we have a problem, because then we unleash the prospect of people attacking other people in the street because they perceive them as having conducted themselves improperly or committed a crime. You cannot eradicate corruption by murdering other people. It's not even close. No amount of reasoning or justification. And indeed, the former president would not have known about what really took place that put him into power. But I was totally involved. I was in the front rows. I seized installations. I announced the formation of the government, and therefore I know every aspect of how this came to be. Perhaps we were just meant to go through that trial, but I'm saying that we should never again revisit it. We should never again, especially since we did not achieve anything. A few years back, a young military officer, may he rest in peace, Captain Mahama, yeah, was murdered by a group, a mob. Mm-hmm. Whatever their perception of his role was around that time in the duties he claimed to be performing, and given the background of the fact that they did not know he was a military officer, there was no justification at all for any actions that may have led eventually to the fate that he befell him. Mob justice is mob justice. It is wrong, whether it is by a civilian group or by the military. There should be better ways, easier ways, ways that will not sow a perpetual rift between our peoples. We need to be considerate. We need to find rules that will, like perhaps the appointment of a special prosecutor, right, is a step in the right direction. So people are actually given the opportunity to defend themselves when accused of something.
Okay. So do you feel that for all of you who took part in that uprising, do you feel that you owe Ghanaians, especially those who lost businesses and families, do you feel you owe them an apology?
Oh, we owe them an apology, big time.
And it has never come?
No, but I'm here to commiserate with them. I'm here to express my chagrin at the fate that their beloved ones suffered. And I'm here to say we're totally sorry for the steps we took, and that they should, once a year on 4th June, all get together under one umbrella to remind people about the evil that dwells in us, about what we could do to our fellow human beings because of perhaps personal ambitions and things like that. We should totally ignore people who call for a celebration, because I think I speak for the silent majority when I say that not a lot of people, even in this room, your camera crew, know or can tell us about the concrete gains from 4th June. I don't know it. I don't see it. There's not one. We achieved nothing. And in the process of achieving nothing, we had human beings murdered. Now that should be the bane of our existence. It's a blot. It's a cancer on our national image. It is something that should never happen again. It should never recur again. And we should condemn it and say an unqualified sorry about the loss of life. We cannot return those lives. But I know these are loved ones, people's husbands, people's grandfathers, people's brothers. And if we allow this to go on without an unqualified apology to those families, the anger sits beneath the surface. How many people gained anything as a result of 4th June? I mean, what did the nation gain? The only people that defend 4th June and its righteousness and all its shapes and forms are those people who personally gained material resource and position as a result of 4th June.
Okay, but I'm sure the former president, for instance, will disagree, because he says that on the back of that came accountability, integrity, a proper system where people felt that they were Ghanaians, where resources were distributed equally to the people compared to what existed before the uprising.
As I said before, 4th June probably spared the intent of put a spare in the intent of our political lives.
Right.
People began to look at things differently. But it's also unleashed a lot of monsters. Okay. I mean, people taking the law into their own hands.
Okay.
I don't know what the balance...
Was this known to the leaders of the uprising, that people were taking the law into their own hands and misbehaving?
Yes. Yes, we had a lot of reports when we were at the FRC headquarters about all kinds of things, not just being done, perpetrated by civilians, right. Privileged civilians, but also by members of the military itself. Okay. So yes, nobody can claim not to have known that there was chaos in the streets of our country.
Okay. If you're in touch with some of your mates from that time, your colleagues, do they feel the same way about it?
As I said previously, there is a silent majority of those who feel amongst us that this has gone on too long, right, and needs to be stopped. As a matter of fact, we got together a couple of months ago with the idea of forming a non-profit organization, which we have in place now. It's called Never Again. And we'll be working towards instituting a more gracious form of acknowledging what happened on 4th June by prayer service as an apology to those families that suffered loss of lives and material and resources. Right. So yes, and a number of us, I don't want to mention names without the acknowledgement of those whom I may mention, But I have had several conversations with these people who were involved to the hilt, and 90% of them condemn what we did. They are remorseful. And on their behalf and on the behalf of all those well-meaning Ghanaians, we offer our sincerest apologies to those families that lost their loved ones.
Have you come in contact with anyone who suffered on that day, a victim of the circumstances at the time?
I have been threatened because of the perception that I, in one way or another, contributed to the misfortunes that befell people at the time. I'm sorry. There are people who don't want to have anything to do with people who participated in the AFRC government.
You can understand them.
I understand them totally.
Okay.
I happen to have been in charge of the pre-trial investigation team at the time. In fact, I put it together after the 5 military officers, including 2 former heads of states, were executed. Right. Because I was in the process of negotiating with the U.S. government. I was actually at the embassy trying to put together a package, relief package for our country, because we were short of practically every food item. Right. You know. And the Americans terminated the meeting as soon as it came on air that some people had been executed. So later on that night, I got together some colleagues, and we put together what we call, at the time, the pre-trial investigation team, which was like a grand jury. We collected information from the public and from the intelligence agencies, and invited those that had been arrested to answer questions that we had for them. And if we found that they had questions to answer, then we processed them through the People's Court and the rest. So anybody that wasn't set free by the People's Court felt that we had a hand in their fate in the end. But what we tried to do really was just prevent people being arrested and executed on rumors, which was what was being done. And from the time that the pre-trial investigation team was formed and started acting, not one person was executed. There were ridiculous jail terms handed out to people for having been found guilty, but at least they had a form of trial. There was a system in place. People were not just being dragged out of their houses and sent to the tertiary range to be executed. Okay.
Right, we're going to take a short break. We'll come back and talk more about corruption with Captain Okankwe. Do stay with us. This is State of Affairs, brought to you by Cowbell Gold and MTN.
Vita-Rich formula has been stolen. Get it back at all costs. Great tasting Cowbell with Vita-Rich has the 28 vitamins and minerals you need to be at the top of your game. Delicious, nutritious Cowbell with Vita-Rich, our milk.
You have 1 minute remaining.
Hello, Oba, they love you too much. But the way they love you, they want to see you fair. I'll give you all love me. Your mommy, you know they like me. If I get money, I can't have the camera. You say, where do they want me to go? You
look, young man, this is not so bad. This is her mother.
The number you have dialed does not exist.
Some things shouldn't be rushed. That's why there are so many ways to talk, text, and browse for long on Ghana's #1 network, MTN. Just dial 555 and choose from a wide range of offers to enjoy the most amazing mobile experience everywhere you go.
a man starts to stay with new Nivea Men Cool Kick Body Lotion and Deodorant. So, when she tells you to carry a handbag in public, play it cool. When Sia from finance gets all up in your grill, what you gonna do? Play it cool. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
Now available in a body cream for instant cooling and intense moisture.
K20, in the bar or in the party. K20, in the funeral or any other gathering. The burning sensation, I touch them up there. K20 whiskey, we track a cloud to the mind. K20 whiskey, what I thought that over to Lou, K20 whiskey, K20 whiskey, hey, yeah, K20. And go on there for 4. Yes, my papa, and no. Opa makes it, Opa no mess anything they go, yeah. K20, in the bar, or in the party. K20, in the funeral or any other gathering.
K20 whiskey, the burning sensation at the chamape. No mwanyansem, one ton more biarundi in Fidwa Wache, on your map painful.
Digitization means more interconnected risks to every organization. Businesses of the future require integrated, comprehensive view of risk to make good decisions. Most organizations manage their governance, risk, and compliance in isolated silos. Yet, the regulatory and accountability obligations require managing these in an integrated way. Transform your company for the future. Be at the Africa GRC Summit 2018 to learn how all your business units can work together for effective GRC.
Akoto loves his family. He works hard to take care of them. So Ifya, his young daughter, can become the doctor she's always dreamt of. And Akosia, his lovely wife, can open the nursery school she talks about all the time. He can see a happy, relaxed retirement in the years to come. But life can get in the way of our dreams. Unable to work, how do their dreams come to pass? Don't let life's tragedies get in the way of your family's dreams. Get a life insurance policy from Star Life today. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
And too many power and fear do much. And says I pay for no. I was drinking spots beer.
And don't go bitters. A demufua.
Welcome back to State of Affairs. I'm here with Captain Victor Okankwe. We're talking about the June 4 39th anniversary yesterday, and also right now we're going to zoom into corruption, the fight against corruption. The show is brought to you by MTN and Cowbell Gold. Now let's talk about corruption. I mean, you've been around for a while, and so you've seen the successes and failures of all the plans we put in place to deal with corruption. How are we not succeeding, in your opinion?
In my opinion, we have not been as successful as we might have been because we did not have a system in place, such as perhaps the Freedom of Information Act.
Okay.
And therefore, government becomes kind of shadowy. It becomes inaccessible,
right.
And people hear about programs on air and from several sources about things that are supposed to be happening, and amounts of monies the public pays to be debited for the purpose of one thing or the other. Now, what people don't know much about is how these things are executed, the implementation stages, and how monies are allocated for usage in these places.
Right.
Also, we don't have an overall authority that would kind of examine the books from time to time routinely, outside of the Auditor General. And until very recently, the Auditor General reports were generally ignored by most people. Government didn't do anything. There was no specific arm of government that was tasked with looking through these Auditor General's reports and taking action to prevent loss of state funds. As I said, the appointment of a prosecutor is a good beginning. It's a step in the right direction, but we do need to build up institutions to take care of what is owned by the state. Otherwise, we'll always lose. I mean, human beings are inherently corrupt. That is one of the things that we heard from God. All right, there's your good side and there's your bad side. Everybody has a good side and a bad side. Yeah. Now, if you're not supervising people, if there are no consequences for actions that are not in the best interest of the state, then, of course, they will continue to benefit individually and then extend to their families and beyond at the expense of the general public. You see, we cannot have a situation, which is what we have now, where individuals have set themselves up as paragons of virtue. They are the people who determine what accountability means, what is right, no. It's all of us together that must do that job. And to do that job, we must have access to government. We must be able to find out what they do with the money's revenue they collect from us and from the grants and loans that they collect on behalf of our children's children.
Right.
That's what the whole thing is about. The more visibility, the more openness there is in government, and the more organizations we have to monitor the actions of persons in power, then the better results will have.
Okay. I know you are sympathetic to the New Patriotic Party. and so this question is more political. There are some who have said that in the previous administration there was so much corruption, reportedly. Probably that is why the party lost the elections, one of the reasons the party lost the election. There are some who have also said that indeed the same things that were happening in their administration are happening now, and you have ministers and other government appointees who are being tagged as corrupt. Investigations are done. You don't hear the reports. You don't hear the conclusion of the investigation. And then the next minute, they're reassigned to do something, or they're back in office. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, in the interest of fairness, I will admit that I'm not only sympathetic to the
You're a member
MPP.
of the party.
I'm a member of the party,
Right.
and lost an election in 2012 to
Nielante van der Poel.
Mr. Van der Poel.
Right.
Yeah. So it is clear where I am on these issues. The fact also that I risked my life in the pursuit of openness and the eradication of corruption should mean that corruption everywhere must be condemned,
right,
by whichever party. What I think we should do, though, is set up a process that eliminates the triumph of rumor,
right,
and innuendo. We should have ways of first finding out and establishing the truth or otherwise of allegations. Mm. There should be permanent bodies, non-partisan, with the authority to investigate and issue reports. Now, whilst I don't think that the members of that board are going to be totally free of party influences, I think when you give them the autonomy they deserve and the legal backing to implement certain inquiries and bring people to book, we will have a much better governance in the future by whichever party wins an election.
Okay.
What we don't have are organizations to take hard looks at this. And it's natural for people to try to justify the actions of those who are close to them and belong to the same party, even when they are deemed to be wrong, because there's no way of establishing the truth. There are several examples of things that happen and could happen to any of the political parties in this country. For example, we do not have a general board, an administration that accounts for everything like the US does, the GSA. Every pin that government owns is on their books.
Yeah.
And there are people in every state that don't work for the states, they work for the federal government.
Right.
And they account for every said thing. In this place, we have the lands department dealing with government lands. We have the various organizations dealing with various possessions of government. And therefore, it is easy for those organizations, when there is no direct watchdog, to pilfer the assets of the state.
Right.
We cannot. If you ask anybody in government now what this country owns in terms of assets, nobody will be able to tell you. But because the work has been done over several years in other parts of the world, at the click of a computer button, they'll tell you how many pins, how many cars, how many books, how many screwdrivers, how many weapons, everything. And they are constantly being updated as they used up or are traded away or sold or gotten rid of. And so we have a lot of ways in which we leak money and resources.
Okay. Now, since we're talking about corruption, I want to bring in Anas Arimeyao Anas. The premiere of that video, the much talked about video, is tomorrow. I'm sure you've been following the discussions. We've had some members of your party criticize the approach of getting information or putting all of these investigative pieces together. Some have said that none of them ever criticized his approach when they were in opposition. Suddenly, his approach has become a problem. We've heard of some of your members also jumping from one station to the other, heavily descending on Anas. What do you think about his work?
I think investigative journalism must be given its space within body politic. I think those who do those jobs must be respected for what they do, unless it can be proven they do it for personal or evil gain.
Right.
I think thus far there is not, to the best of my knowledge, any stain on the integrity of Anas, whom I don't know. Right. But I think he should be allowed to do what he does, and that the outcome of his work should be examined closely by those in authority and power to take a closer look. I think it can only make our society better.
Right.
As to one party disowning him when they're in government, and the rest, it does happen. It's something we should expect.
Right.
Almost everything, including going to the corner to buy a can of milk, brings about all kinds of political discussion. I think, to the best of my knowledge, the man has done a great job with what he's been doing so far. I have nothing but praise for him, and I think he needs the backing of all well-meaning people in this country. I think he should go out there. He should be commended. I mean, nobody gives him resources to work, and it gives us information that contributes to our general well-being.
Are you going to watch it tomorrow?
Yes, I will.
Oh, nice.
Can't wait.
You're looking forward to it. Do you follow football
Absolutely.
at all?
Soccer, yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I actually played for soccer when I was much younger.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're really interested in this one?
Yes, I am.
Knowing the developments that
Absolutely.
all of this
with the GFA chairmanship and all that. Yeah, I think it goes deeper. I think they should take a look at ministers and their presidents and their spouses and things they've acquired since they got into power. People who had nothing now telling us how we should behave, because they have everything now as a result of short circuiting of our political system at one time of our lives. Okay. I'm talking about people who will tell you they are so virtuous that everybody should be like them. Mm-hmm. That is a fallacy. That's not happen. It doesn't happen anywhere in the world. People are inherently selfish.
Right.
You know, and if we allow mob justice, condemning Anas Amiriwa, and condemning anybody that rises up to expose the dirt beneath our skirts, then we would be giving credence to people that take the law into their own hands because they see things differently.
Okay, let's take our very final break. We'll come back and wrap up with Captain Okankwe in a bit. This is State of Affairs, brought to you by Cowbell Gold and MTN.
K20, in the bar or in the party. K20, in the funeral or any other gathering. The burning sensation, I touch them up. K20 whiskey, who track a crack with no mind. K20 whiskey, what I started to battle, where you judge. K20 whiskey, hey, yeah, K20. I'm born there for 4. There's no papa and no. Opa makes it, Opa no mess anything they go, yeah. K20, in the bar or in the party. K20, in the funeral or any other gathering.
K20 whiskey, the burning sensation at the Chamape. No Mwanyansem, one ton more Biarundi in Fidwa Watche, on your map painful.
Everybody drink our coffee, smile and have a sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, smile and have a sunshine day. Everybody do what you're doing, your smile will bring a sunshine day. Drink up the celebration, we're together, join your hands in harmony. Everybody, do what you're doing. Smile and have a sunshine day.
Everybody, start every day with delicious, nutritious Cowbell coffee and have a sunshine day.
Everybody, drink our coffee. Smile and have a sunshine day. Woo!
Akoto loves his family. He works hard to take care of them. So Ifya, his young daughter, can become the doctor she's always dreamt of. And Akosia, his lovely wife, can open the nursery school she talks about all the time. He can see a happy, relaxed retirement in the years to come. But life can get in the way of our dreams. Unable to work, how do your dreams come to pass? Don't let life's tragedies get in the way of your family's dreams. Get a life insurance policy from Star Life today. Star Life, your solid partner for life.
Baby, my mom has come to stay with us for a few days, okay?
Yes, baby.
Baby, I want to drive.
Yes, baby.
Baby, bring it down.
Yes, baby.
Baby, I want your Momo pin.
Baby, da.
The only way in is with your PIN. Keep it safe. MTN Mobile Money is the safest way of keeping your money and making transactions.
See?
Yes, baby.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Cadbury Choco, ne down the Yastronko, ne buone da fem. 20 grams, your 50 pesos. 550 grams, your 9 cedis, 50 pesos. 1.1 kilograms, your 18 cedis, 50 pesos. Cadbury Choco, ne down the Yastronko, ne buone da fem.
Bichabiana Maniaje, Bichabi into Maniaje, Rof, Minumbe, Mamma Meka, and now Mekanti, my fine. I don't go for me, go, I don't go for me, go, I'm a gonna Maniaje, Rof, and you are buying new banana, Bichabiana, fine. Whenever you are, don't go, every day, no, I don't go for me, go.
And too many power and fear doom watching, and says I pay for no, I will drinking spots be and
don't go bitters, a demufua.
Welcome back to State of Affairs. Cowbell Gold Energy for Winners is fortified choco milk drink made from the finest cocoa from Ghana, rich malt, and the perfect amount of milk and sugar, full of proteins and vitamins. It's certainly energy for winners. Cowbell Milk and Cowbell Gold Energy drink for winners. This is State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold, as you've been hearing, and MTN. I'm talking to Captain Victor Okankwe. He was part of the June 4 revolution. After 39 years, he says that there's been a lot of regret, and he has actually rendered an apology to the victims of that uprising. The first time we're hearing of any of such apology. Now, we are into the final minutes of the show. Next year will be the 40th anniversary of the June 4 uprising. As Ghanaians, I mean, you've talked about never again, that this incident should never again. You've talked about all the mob injustice or mob justice, as some would like to call it. But what is that one key thing you would preach to Ghanaians, knowing very well what happened on that day, on the 4th of June 1979?
I think if we should take any lesson or adapt to our environment, the first thing we should do is to be patient. Find out.
Patient?
Be patient.
With who?
With everything you hear.
Okay.
Don't just jump up and follow things because you heard. Make sure you know exactly what is happening. Be patient. Love your fellow neighbor like yourself. I mean, treat people like you would treat yourself.
Right.
And then let's put in place institutional organs that can assuage our pain and address reports of corruption. Because, as I said before, there is none of us that would claim to be totally free of the tendency to benefit from positions when we are thrust into those or elected into those positions.
Right.
It is human. What decent societies do is find ways to ameliorate them, to regulate them, put laws into place that alienate things, and get a lot of people involved in the implementation of programs which involve financial transactions. You know, that way we know what is happening. It is easy to assess. I mean, can you imagine we're in this government, in this country, in this day and age, and you go to certain offices and there are files, thousands of them rotting in some little office. Those are the records of this country. In spite of the fact that we do not have to invent the computer. They're available. We just buy them and use them for storage of information. We don't do that. And therefore, it's easy for people to come out and tell you what they want you to hear to incite a particular reaction from you. We should be able to use technology, that which is available to us, to concretize our storage of information. We want people, you know, and we should keep bonds. I mean, the one thing that the 4th of June did to the military was divide the military. When I was an officer, we would come back from our daily work, and all of us would go into the mess and talk, drink, We knew who each other's girlfriends or wives or things were. We were brothers and sisters. You go to the messes now, and there are two people sitting there in some corner. As soon as you appear, they get up their coats and run. Because for the first time in the history of this country, June 4th ushered in a period where military officers actually executed people who are supposed to be their brothers in arms. That is something that is grave, that is something that is detestable, that is something that should never happen again. We did a serious moral damage to the esprit de corps of the Ghana Armed Forces, who do a wonderful job whenever they are called upon to do so. But that bondness, that closeness between officers and men is gone. I don't see it. It will take us years to reestablish just trust and confidence in each other. When I know that I had a conversation with you, and the next time you are in a position to do so, you will kill me because you think I did something wrong. That is wrong. But basically, bringing it down to the lowest level, that is what it means. You're supposed to be comrades in arms. You're supposed to cover each other when, if you find yourself in a situation of conflict, and even beyond that, the fact that the armed forces is armed by the taxes of the people means that we are trusting them and giving them the ability to defend us, look after us, okay, when we're in danger. Now, when those taxes, which have been converted into purchase of arms, are used to make us prisoner, there's something seriously wrong. Right. I mean, how can you justify killing a fellow military officer because you think he's wrong or has done something? There's no justification, not at all. You cannot go on air and you didn't invent accountability. The word was there long before we were born. And there are people of unimpeachable integrity that have been in the forefront of politics in this country, who did not have to resort to unwarranted, unjustified execution of people to achieve their aims.
All right. Thank you very much, Captain Victor Okankwe, talking to us on State of Affairs tonight. The show was brought to you by MTN and Cowbell Gold, energy for winners. Thank you for watching the show. Have a good night.
State of Affairs brought to you by Cowbell Gold and everywhere you go, MTN.
If you take Tramon 2 or 1, which mean Adama de Achiansana in Raba.
On Tuesday, 12 June, all feet march to St. Kizito, a prescriptive drug turned opioid, abused in classrooms, boardrooms, and bedrooms. How do we free our youth, plug the borders, and stop black marketeers? Join the national conversation spearheaded by GH1 Television. Tuesday, 12 June. Hashtag End Tramadol Abuse with GH1 TV.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
The enemies have taken the city captive. So, the forces have to be tactical and move steadily. It's been a tiring battle behind enemy lines. The squadron leader Stoneboy signals his commandos Yapuno, Kitty, Kwame Eugene, Fancy Gada, Patapa, and King Promise to move steadily because landmines have been detected. The battle is heated on the other side. Captain Whiskey signals his comrades, Mayor Kun and Mr. Easy, to take refuge at their base, the Tang Palace Hotel. Both forces now join hands and invade enemy lines. They infiltrate their defenses and rescue music. All this amidst bomb blasts and few casualties. the rescue helicopter arrives from the base. The forces have 10 seconds to evacuate the city before the bomb goes off. Ghana meets Niger 2018. Tickets selling at Star FM and Live FM for 120 Ghana City regular, 200 Ghana City VIP, and 300 Ghana City VVIP with free cocktails on the night. For platinum tickets, which comes with unlimited drinks, table seating, and other experiences for the night, call 050-564-6657. You can also conveniently purchase your ticket wherever you are via the FlexiPay app. Just download the app on your Android or iOS and buy a ticket at a discounted price. Main sponsors: Storm Energy Drink, Alomo Gold, Allied Oil, Fix Console, Sumoko Ghana Limited, NASCO, Taxify, Labadi Beach Hotel, Kirusa, and Graphic Showbiz. Official media partners: the EIB Network, Aftown Music, and YFM. This event is powered by Empire and brought to you by FlexiPay.
A star is about to be born. Can you sing and write your own song? Can you perform a rendition of other songs? Rhythms Covers has got you covered. Become a sensation and a breakout star by being a part of this new music reality show. Rhythms Covers. Win cash, record deals, and endless airplay right here on GH1 TV. Just text GH1 to short code 1747. Be a part of this extraordinary experience and be on your way to stardom. Rhythms Covers.
Ghana Police Watch, the factual and reliable weekly series that will bring you timely information on combating crime in Ghana.
Good morning, police emergency. How may I assist you?
These are the police officers who risk their lives daily in the line of duty.
The public will need their support.
Don't miss the special reports and news updates from Ghana Police Service and stimulating discussions on policing in Ghana. Ghana Police Watch. Good evening and welcome. Ghana Police Watch.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
Yes, Gadam Nation Boss Day here, so I'm just here to intrigue the fan base. They should stop abusing tramadol, because if your life is in danger, Fast Gadam life is in danger, because you guys are my fans. So let's end tramadol abuse with GH1. Gadam Nation Boss Day here.
I'm your humble servant for Ayawaso Central, Member of Parliament. My name is Henry Quarte, and the Deputy Minister of the Interior. My fellow Ghanaians, the youth, the future leaders of our great country, Ghana needs you. The future is in your hands. We shall count on you to make Ghana a better place for us to live in. So end tramadol with GH1 now.
Tramadol abuse is a very serious problem for all of us. I think if you look at our demography, the youth are the majority. And if a lot of people are getting access to this kind of drugs, it's very, very dangerous for us because it's addictive. We should end, tramadol abuse with GH1.
My name is Ohiniwe Geftianti. As a youth, as a young person, you naturally have energy. You have so much ahead of you. There's so much you can achieve putting your mind to it. You have the world at your disposal. You have to start making an impact, setting goals for yourself, making yourself, your family, and your society, and indeed your country proud. God has a beautiful plan for you. Don't mess it up. Substance abuse in any form is wrong. So please, my young people, my daughters, my sons, end tramadol abuse now with GH1.
Hey, surprise!
I love to dance.
It's going to be awesome, and I'm already fired up.
I'm married to Jesus. See, Bodos. Satan, leave me alone.
Am I the one in trouble here, or you guys are? My bathroom and my bedroom, everywhere, panties.
Hell no. I need to dry my underwear. Where are your dry lines?
I've already been looking for a fine temptation like this to fall in.
Come and fall in.
Because you've been extremely obedient since these girls walked in here.
Bless this tiny little food. As I carry my food, come keep. You see when you munch my food like cow. Wait trek from Tamale come Accra.
Where's the butter?
guy is a midget.
I can't believe this, Thomas. He just called your future brother-in-law a midget.
You know, there's a difference between that and a midget. Show some respect.
Do you even realize I'm your girlfriend's cousin?
And I'm your cousin's boyfriend.
I don't like you. You still know my type.
Humble yourself before you become a prayer warrior.
I saw them for real. They were 3. The daddy cockroach, the mummy, and the baby cockroach.
You sure are in a lot of flesh. Now my head entered the bobby first.
Did she tell you that she needed condoms?
That is how professionals respond to emergencies. As a professional boyfriend, I have to grab what I have to grab, which is condom. Here's gonorrhea.
My heart was blowing in the hurricane. My heart was blowing. He get low. He get low. You were never disaster. You were never disaster.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
The enemies have taken the city captive. So, the forces have to be tactical and move steadily. It's been a tiring battle behind enemy lines. The squadron leader Stoneboy signals his commandos Yapuno, Kitty, Kwame Eugene, Fancy Gada, Patapa, and King Promise to move steadily because landmines have been detected. The battle is heated on the other side. Captain Whiskey signals his comrades, Mayor Kun and Mr. Easy, to take refuge at their base, the Tang Palace Hotel. Both forces now join hands and invade enemy lines. They infiltrate their defenses and rescue music. All this amidst bomb blasts and casualties. The rescue helicopter arrives from the base. The forces have 10 seconds to evacuate the city before the bomb goes off. Ghana meets Niger 2018. Ticket selling at Star FM and Live FM for 120 Ghana City regular, 200 Ghana City VIP, and 300 Ghana City VVIP with free cocktails on the night. For platinum tickets, which comes with unlimited drinks, table seating, and other experiences for the night, call 050-564-6657. You can also conveniently purchase your ticket wherever you are via the FlexiPay app. Just download the app on your Android or iOS and buy a ticket at a discounted price. Main sponsors: Storm Energy Drink, Alomo Gold, Allied Oil, Fixed Console, Sumoko Ghana Limited, NASCO, Taxify, Labadi Beach Hotel, Kirusa, and Graphic Showbiz. Official media partners: the EIB Network, Aftown Music, and YFM. This event is powered by Empire and brought to you by FlexiPay.
GH1 TV, your best experience.
And we're here again, another wonderful evening, set for all the discussions that you want to hear and want to get involved in. My name is Jay Foley, and welcome to The Pandits. Well, this evening, in fact, I want to dedicate the show in remembrance of June 3rd, the disaster that happened right here in the capital city, Accra. People lost their lives. May their soul rest in perfect peace. People lost property as well, and we'll never, ever forget that day and that incident. It's raining again, so I entreat all of you to actually be very careful out there, especially when you're driving as well. When you're going out carrying your umbrellas, let's watch the filth as well and the sanitation issues, because all adds up to the floods. Anyway, with that out of the way, big conversation this evening. We're going to talk about the Golden Movie Awards as well as other things that have come up on our entertainment calendar. If you're ready, I'm ready. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
You have 1 minute remaining. Hello, but they love you too much. But the way they love you, they want to see you fair. I'll give you all of me. Your mommy, you know they like me. If I get money, they can't have the camera. You say, where do they want me to go?
Look, young man, this is not about. This is her mother.
The number you have dialed does not exist.
Some things shouldn't be rushed. That's why there are so many ways to talk, text, and browse for long on Ghana's #1 network, MTN. Just dial 555 and choose from a wide range of offers to enjoy the most amazing mobile experience everywhere you go.
Best concert of your life? Don't just stay cool, stay refreshed with an ice-cold Coca-Cola for 3 Ghana cedis. Recommended retail price, now available in zero sugar. Cheers!
Our doors are open for Ghanaians to own shares in Ghana's #1 network. The MTN Ghana share offer is open from 29th May to 31st July 2018. Buy your MTN Ghana shares at 75 Ghana pesos per share. Shares must be purchased in multiples of 10 with a minimum purchase of 7 Ghana cedis 50 pesos. Dial *170# and select option 7 to buy through MTN Momo, or buy online at mtnghanashares.com, or visit selected MTN Ghana branches, IC Securities Ghana Limited, any of our selected banks, or any licensed stockbroker of the Ghana Stock Exchange to buy your MTN Ghana shares or to pick up a copy of the printed prospectus. You can also dial *533# or visit mtnghanashares.com to access the prospectus. Please read the offer prospectus and seek appropriate expert advice before deciding to participate in the offer.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Even on those nights I sleep worry-free with Always Ultra.
It has a soft, light cotton top layer and gives you 3 times better dryness.
No stain, no check for 2 hours. Good night speed, good morning energy. Good time with my family. Good morning energy, good morning energy. I stay fresh and lively with Always Ultra.
Gives you 3 times better dryness. Now available in a brand new pack.
When a man starts his day with new Nivea Men Cool Kick Body Lotion and Deodorant.
Double the kick of coolness, 48-hour moisture and protection.
So, when she tells you to carry a handbag in public, play it cool. When Sia from finance gets all up in your grill,
What you gonna do?
play it cool. Nivea Men, it starts with you.
Now available in a body cream for instant cooling and intense moisture.
Today, Ariel will show you how to save more in these tough times.
Why this powder?
It's pretty good and money's tight.
But Ariel gives better cleaning with less powder.
Impossible.
Come with me.
For these tough stains, I'll need 1, 2.
And just 1 handful of Ariel. New Ariel gives better stain removal with less powder.
That's real saving.
Ariel removes tough stains better in 1 wash.
Now available in a new pack at 1 Ghana cedi.
Welcome back. Sometimes the conversations at the back end or behind the scenes are even sometimes more interesting than what we put out here, but we'll try and make it as as real as possible. Minutes before we started our conversation, or before we got ourselves ready for the shoot, then a post came up on Snoop Dogg's Instagram account or Instagram page on a little joke. I don't know whether to call it a joke or something he was playing on Ghana, but the question is, are we going to take it right? I think my producers will put this image up and I'll get to my pundits so we can discuss this as well. Obviously. Before that, let me introduce my pundits to you this evening. To my extreme right, I've got Peter, famous for Side Chick Gang, amazing movie, so many nominations. Congratulations for picking up the awards. We'll get into the